video you're about to watch is done by trained professionals with high-tech equipment on a closed course. We appreciate that you're here. We appreciate that you're watching this video and that you've already probably subscribed to our channel. There's a couple ways that you can help us out if you like the kind of content you're seeing here. Like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with a friend or family member. But also, there's another way that you can help us. You can hit the link in our description down below to our websites, and you can check out all the other products that we offer. We have some special discount codes down there for you. And then after this video is done, get out and do something cool.
The ability to move is foundational to the preservation of your freedom. The powers that be want you docile, dependent, and compliant. Your individuality is a risk for the state. The desire to remain free, a potent weapon against tyranny, a proverbial middle finger against the establishment. But the rugged individual lasts only so long. The capable community becomes a force multiplied. Those who stick together thrive together. As a unit, one collective. The rebellious soul, coupled with skill, bravery, and capability, creates a force, an acceleration, a balance, if you will. The ability to appear, then vanish into thin air. Valuable and practical. This commitment to remaining free creates innovative ways to fight, tools to use, skills to learn, and knowledge to multiply. This is about far more than night vision and dirt bikes. This is about accepting our reality, equipping our citizens, and preparing for any situation our communities might face.
After rolling around on the bikes for a little bit, I can say with confidence that my opinion is definitely fully developed on this Panoramic Night Vision. The very first time I powered this unit up and spent some time with it in the dark, I was blown away. Having what is seemingly your full peripheral vision in the dark is definitely something I was not used to. For years, my experience in the dark was limited to 40 degrees. That's like looking through a paper towel tube. Increasing that to a 104-degree field of view is a huge improvement for high-speed maneuverability. Let me tell you, stargazing with this unit is also much more enjoyable than with Binos or a PVS-14. You will see twice as many shooting stars because you have over 2 times the visible field of view. It's certain I was walking around with a device slightly above my pay grade. But that's what makes this fun sometimes, figuring out ways to obtain gear, to bring it to you, and show you where I would use this expensive piece of kit and where I wouldn't. After getting clearance, I drove into Photonis Defense, picked this beauty up in person because I didn't want to ship it more than we had to. I no sooner got home with the unit and I started getting messages about coyotes on trail cameras in areas I had permission to hunt them. PA coyotes are more sporadic than in some other states. With this insider information on where they were less than 24 hours previously, I couldn't resist the temptation to try and coyote hunt with these quad tubes. After I got the kids settled in bed, I bounced. My excitement was building, with what was seeming to shape up to be a divine appointment. It didn't take long, I had a coyote down with the quad tubes in tow. The question that I answered for myself very quickly that night is, would I ever take these out again on a hunt? The answer is no, I wouldn't. There's multiple coyotes in the area that night, and I'm confident because I didn't have my helmet mounted thermal, I missed seeing some of those coyotes lurking around the field edges, ultimately lowering the potential body count for the night. So where would I be willing to negate my helmet mounted thermal? and use this set of quad tubes? Well, that answer is pretty simple. You see it right here with me now. I would certainly pick these quad tubes in any situation where high speed, effective maneuvering is required. Getting on any dirt bike in the dark definitely requires a special level of attention and awareness of your surroundings that no other machine I own requires.
I know at this point you guys are probably still questioning why we are talking about Panoramic Night Vision. And it's because of all this back and forth. At first we're saying, hey, this is an amazing tool, and then we're kind of nitpicking against it. So the question is, which is it? Is this a good unit that you should consider? Or is this simply an overpriced toy that most of you are not gonna need? I get it, and I promise we will dive deeper into these units. And as Ethan sort of alluded to, most of you by now have probably determined that you don't need Panoramic Night Vision. Most of you had said, yeah, no. The vast majority of people will not be able to justify spending nearly $40,000 on a unit like this, but some of you can. Some of you are flexible and liquid enough to do it, and frankly, I think it's important to discuss units like these PD Pro Q Panos, even if the vast majority of people simply cannot justify a purchase like this. The fact that I try to continue to repeat time and time again is that it is vitally important that we understand the gear that exists and we understand its strengths and its weaknesses. One thing I want to make abundantly clear right from the beginning: this video is not about flexing like your favorite Instagram influencer. This video is absolutely not about encouraging you to get into financial trouble to own a tool like this. Regardless of your income level, this is a heavy decision to make when we are talking 5 figures. This is about simply educating you about one of the most capable panoramic night vision devices on the market. One last thing to note: all specifications can be found on our website, and we can even provide you PDF copies of the user manual for the PD Pro Q for anybody that really needs to dive deep into the weeds of the specification of this unit. There is simply no way for me to cover all the details in depth of this unit in this video. I'm gonna do my best to try to get you up to speed with everything that I think is critically important. But all important information is going to be in that user manual and on our website, and all of those specifications on those 2 locations take precedence over what I say in this video. Specs change over time, and plus I'm a human. I do my best to not make mistakes, but I do sometimes nonetheless. And if I misspeak or say something that's not 100% right, just refer to the manual and the website for all of that important information. Lastly, we purchased this set of Panos directly from Photonis. There's no contract between our companies, and they did not pay us to make this video. We made this video by our own decision because we feel like this is an important unit to discuss. It's enough of all that. Let's talk about these Panos. PD Pro Q Panoramic Night Vision device is a high-tech, high-performance panoramic device that is designed to compete with and in some ways outperform the GPNVG-18. Yes, what I am saying is there is a sound competitor to the GPNVG, one that is little known or talked about in the industry. Enter the PD Pro Q from Photonis. The housing of the PD Pro Q Pano is manufactured from aerospace grade aluminum and features a spanning bridge that houses all 4 of the Photonis 4G white or green phosphor 18mm hybrid image intensifier tubes. Built into the housing are 2 tie-down points to secure the unit to your helmet, in the event of a breakaway incident. It's better in a breakaway incident that this unit smashes you in the teeth than hits the concrete. And I'll take mild dental work over losing a $40,000 unit in a lake somewhere in BFE. The PD Pro Q is advertised at 760 grams, which comes out to approximately 27 ounces. And when compared to the PD Pro Binos, it's nearly double the weight. And it sort of makes sense though, because you have double the amount of intensifier tubes. The PD Pro Q also lacks articulation because all the tubes are housed and mounted on a fixed bridge. A small price to pay for the added capabilities of the panoramic design. The overall width of this thing is approximately 8¼ inches wide. And yes, it's a fairly large unit, but you look cool and that's half the battle anyway. And while that might make the PD Pro Q sound like this huge thing, when you compare it to the GPNVG-18, the PD Pro Q is actually advertised by Photonis to be 33% smaller and 9% lighter. The proprietary design and construction of the hybrid 18mm tubes allowed Photonis to keep the form factor as small as possible, much more compact than the GPNVG. And as we always say, ounces equal pounds. The weight, although heavy, when compared to Binos, is still lighter than the L3 unit. This is impressive to say the least. The bridge of this unit features interpupillary distance adjustments, or as I like to say, eyeball spacing distance adjustments from 55mm to 75mm, and it can be adjusted easily and quickly on the fly by rotating two knobs found on the sides of the unit. Panoramic Night Vision has always been seen as the ultimate flex in the gun world, and the 4 eyes on the front are an iconic look. But looks are not all that this thing is after. The PD Pro Q Pano features an insanely impressive 104 degrees field of view. Compared to the GPNVG-18, that is a massive 7 degrees larger of field of view with this PD Pro Q. One thing to keep in mind is that Photonis advertises that this is a ±1 degree field of view, but the PD Pro Q is still a substantial upgrade in terms of field of view over the GPNVG. The advertised vertical field of view in this unit is 38 degrees ±1 degree, which falls right in line with most binocular devices. Some of you are possibly wondering, what is the deal with that 104 degree field of view? The short, simple answer is situational awareness. It's dramatically increased over Binos alone. It's hard to explain what it is like looking through Panos, but if you essentially think of seeing a single fused image in the center of your eyeballs, and then off to the sides, you'll see images on your left and right that slightly overlap with that center image, and that's what gives you that massive peripheral advantage. When comparing the Panos to a set of Binos, you get nearly triple the field of view, and that's pretty crazy. The PD Pro Q comes with everything needed to get your new set of Panos up and onto your helmet. It includes the panoramic unit that already has a mil-spec dovetail fixed to the bridge, a battery pack for housing 4 AA batteries, a battery cable, diopters of various increments, and it even comes with a hard case, which it should for the amount of money you're spending on this unit. Each unit also ships with full specifications of the intensifier tubes, and the PD Pro Q receives the absolute best of the best in 4G intensifier tubes. Diopters must be manually swapped out on this unit. They are not adjustable in the traditional sense where you can simply rotate your lens closest to your eye to adjust to your eyesight. Users must choose from the array of varying diopters to correct for their vision, and you can adjust them in either 0.25 or 0.5 increments. The way these diopters work is by simply snapping them into place on the oval objectives on the unit closest to your eyeballs. Included with the PD Pro Q are also sacrificial lenses, and we highly recommend utilizing them to protect the glass while you are out performing theatrics in the darkness with your boys.
Industrial strength night vision goggles.
Holy Santa Claus shit. Can you imagine if we had these when we were 12?
Even better, we got them when we're 40.
Included with this unit is a Photonis breakaway night vision mount, which is very similar in fit, form, and function to a Wilcox G24. The main difference between the two are some features inherent to the Photonis mount to allow auto off and on functions of the PD Pro Q, but also the controls on the Photonis mount are a bit different than the Wilcox G24. The Photonis breakaway mount is an important piece to this puzzle as it unlocks the PD Pro's ability to power off when stowed in an upward position. It's also needed to allow the unit to power on in a downward position. Users should always run the included Photonis breakaway mount when running the PD Pro Q Panos. Power is supplied via an included cable that is routed to an auxiliary battery pack that you put on the back of your helmet. And this battery pack is included with each PD Pro Q Pano. The battery pack houses 4 AA batteries, and it is extremely important to note that Photonis units require lithium AA batteries. Don't be a weenie and spend $40K and then slap Dollar General off-brand batteries into your unit. I will make fun of you. Also, you're probably gonna destroy your battery pack when those junk batteries explode inside of it. It's best to stick with the proper batteries when running a unit like this. Trust us here, we are the professionals. With these 4 lithium batteries, the PD Pro Q is advertised at an approximate 35 hours of continuous runtime. And runtime will always vary depending on external factors. The PD Pro Q features onboard infrared illumination in the 930 nanometer spectrum. This makes detection from other mainstream Gen 3 devices much more difficult. The illumination is clear to the user of the Panos, very dim to users of L-bit or L3 tubes, and depending on the distance, it could be impossible for most Gen 3 tubes to even see. Included in the manual are very specific instructions to follow in order to make sure that the images blend together properly over your eye. And you should follow your manual extremely close to make sure that you are setting this unit up properly that first time that you run it. If adjusted properly, it will create a very seamless image on all tubes. Looking at the stars under Panos is absolutely stunning, in case any of you were wondering. If you've been around our channel for some time, you know that we love Photonis 4G tubes. They are especially clear in urban environments. They have an outstanding highlight performance, and while they often can be talked down upon by other players in the industry because, frankly, Photonis often doesn't have the gain levels of Gen 3 tubes, we have found that the PD Pro line of optics does everything that we need exceptionally well. The Photonis 4G tubes feature this incredibly fast auto gating, and they are extremely robust and resistant to temporary burns while you're using the unit. The PD Pro Q does not feature manual gain, but we wouldn't hesitate to walk, hike, run, or ride our dirt bikes around with this particular unit. The PD Pro Q was designed to function even in very hostile environments, and we couple the strength of the housing and design and the performance of the tubes that are on board and that added field of view of this Pano design, it is clear to see why the PD Pro Q has appealed to us so much. Specs on paper are cool, and it's neat to rip around on the bikes and talk about all of this stuff, but what I know most of you want to know, do the Panos increase your ability on the range while shooting? There's only one way to find out. About a week ago, I ran the T-Rex Arms 50-round course of fire with the Photonis PD Pro Q device. We have a full video that we filmed that evening, and it will eventually be on our YouTube channel. And when it is, I will put that link down in the description below. The experience on that range day showed me a few things. First, it painted the picture that simply having Panos doesn't make you a better shooter. In fact, I went head to head with my PD Pro Binos against these Panos, and what I found was my times and accuracy were almost identical. I attribute this to a few things. First, a lack of skill will not go away simply because you have a better unit. If you suck at transition drills, you don't know how to lead with your eyes, having something like the Panos and the extra peripheral is not going to help you. If you never use your nods in regular scenarios, you'll never become seamless with them. There's also little benefit in terms of sheer shooting when you jump from binos to panos. And I know that might seem crazy, but the reality is most people will never outpace the abilities afforded by a standard PVS-14 or binocular night vision device. But I did see some very clear benefits of the panos while shooting on that range day. The added peripheral while shooting does make you more situationally aware. This was especially evident during transition drills and movement drills. I could physically see the target I was about to transition to before I ever even turned my head. The other clear benefit of the panos was moving from shooting position to different positions. Seeing more means you have more data. More data means you can make decisions faster. This is all compounding to afford more and more benefits to you as you train with these panos. But when it came to basic firearm fundamentals, there was virtually zero difference between the binos and the panos. I put a poll up on my Instagram asking people if they thought I scored better with binos versus panos, and most people said binos, and I think that that paints an accurate picture. It is pretty understood that panos do not give you an immense amount of benefit over binos, but there is a benefit. It only really shows itself in a few specific roles, and these roles include driving any vehicle, especially motorcycles blacked out, running, navigating terrain, shooting on the move, transitioning targets, seeing friendlies to your left and right, and anything that involves needing that extra peripheral. But they aren't magical. Every scenario that I listed above requires you to train to a high standard to see a benefit from a unit like this. At the end of the range day, I had a slightly better hit factor with the panos. I suspect that I would gap the binos even more with more training with this unit, but it wasn't light years ahead of my binos. Sure, I'm more familiar with my binos, and you could say that that was an advantage during that training, but what I think is most important to remember is that training is the most important aspect of this game of night vision. Whether you just have a PVS-14 or you have binos or panos or even just a white light, training is key. Training is what unlocks the true potential of your unit. Now, I do love these panos and I'm excited to use them more, and I'm sure that I will become more and more fluent with them. I think they are perfect for anyone who rides, drives, navigates rough terrain, and frankly has the cash available for such a large investment. Will they replace my binos? No. I think I will stick to my PD Pros or Jerry FB, but I love this unit. It is highly capable and perfect for, you know, the people it's perfect for. It just isn't for everyone, but for some people, it's gonna be the perfect tool.
These binos are cool, man, but give me them panos back.
Here you go, Bill.
Wait up, guys! No, stop! Come on! I always do this. Can't see crap with this thing. Oh, come on!
Picked this bad boy up on the side of the road. The guy said he'd take 30 bucks for it, or a bag full of cats and a hammer. I don't know why, but for 30 bucks, who needs cats?